one of the most beautifully expressed form of African spirituality that I have ever seen and witnessed and have the pleasure of enjoying. So the major motivation behind the festival that they have, the Festival of Black Deities, is to afford both Africans that live in Africa and Africans in the diaspora an opportunity for their historical identification, okay, the restoration and promotion of African heritage, okay? It's a celebration, but it's also a rehabilitation and a rediscovery for African people living everywhere, okay? So in Anejo, which is the city where the festival takes place, it's located like 45 kilometers from Lomé, which is the capital of Togo, and Anejo, Gilidi in Togo, and Abomey and Kwaida. These are the different towns and the neighboring cities in Benin. And they are also known to be the cradle of voodoo in the world. No Kwaida, for instance, that's where they have the Python temple, the snake temple for in Benin. So Anejo is the land of Mina, mostly scientists from Ghana's central religion, and their ancient town, which is Elmina, that went to Togo and Benin and who engaged in their fishing occupation. You can find a lot of information on the Anejo and all of these things on Blogspot. Somebody made a very good post on Blogspot entitled Ethnic Beauty. Okay, so you're going to look under the link to that is I, as in the word IEYE, 4, number 4, ethnic.blogspot.br. And you're going to look for that. It's something that came out that somebody posted on the blog 2014. Okay? So, and then you could find all this, and there are some very beautiful photos as well. It's called Voodoo Festival of Black Deities, and you can go there and look at it. And of course, you can flip through their clipboard, and there are more celebrations of deities from different aspects of Africa in different forms, okay? Different places and everything. So just to get an idea of what people are doing to preserve their African heritage and their spirituality worldwide, and to promote the goodness of African spirituality, because if you look at something beautiful, definitely you're going to say, oh, that's good. You know, even the snake that's so beautifully decorated, it serves a very good purpose. Okay, so then we go to, so in Anejo, let's go back to Anejo. So in Anejo, they have this big celebration, okay? And usually that celebration is also done in December, okay? Where they do have this big, big festival going on in December, okay? All right. So then, again, you know that if you want to check out the Festival of Black Deities, it's being organized. It has been established by the ACOFIN organization. Okay. All right, and you can do that. All right. Very beautiful. So let's go from voodoo in Benin to voodoo as it's worshipped or practiced in Haiti and places like Louisiana and everything. So we have voodoo now, VOODOO, as some people spell it, and the one that we discussed previous was voodoo, which is VODUN. Okay? So voodoo with the double O is originated from in French slave colony called it was called Saint Dominique at the time. And that was around the 18th century when African religious practice was actively suppressed and enslaved Africans were forced to convert to Christianity. So during that time, the religious practices of contemporary voodoo, which is from the descendants of Benin, okay, they brought it down from West African voodoo and practiced the same thing as the Fon, as closely as possible, as the Fon and the Ewe people did. Okay, voodoo in itself now also incorporates elements and symbolism from other African people, to include the Yoruba and the Bakongo, as well as the Taino religious beliefs, the Taino Indians, and also some European spirituality, which some Roman Catholic, Christianity, and even mysticism and Freemasonry. Okay, so the voodoo that is practiced in the diaspora incorporates all those things. Okay, in Haitian voodoo, they have their temples, and their temples are called a hongfo. And after a day or two of preparation, like setting up their altars at the hongfo, ritually preparing and cooking fowl and food and everything, Haitian voodoo services begin with, they begin with a series of prayers and songs, sometimes in French, Creole, okay? And then, of course, they have some of the European and African saints that they call the Loa, and they honor them by their houses, okay, from different houses. So they have a series of verses that they say to each main spirit of each house, each Loa, okay? And when they do that, it's called prière djenne, okay, prière djenne, or the African prayer, all right? So after more introductions and songs, beginning with salutations to the Hoonto, the spirit of the drums, the song for all the individual spirits of song, okay? Starting with Papa Legba, which, of course, we know Papa Legba is who we call him, Elegbara or Ileg, in the Lukumi, Ilegwa, the same deity. So in Haitian voodoo, Papa Legba is first. And then, of course, there is a family of other spirits that they call the Rada spirits, and then there are the break, and then they have songs to the Petro spirits that begin the service, and then the service ends with songs to the Gede family. Okay? So, interesting, very interesting. I'm not certain what type of services the Haitian voodoo people have. What type of services they have for their families, for their community, how they operate in terms of, exchanging services for, the well-being, the everyday well-being of the family, or for special events. Of course, they have their rites of passages, just like the Yoruba do, with, the naming ceremonies for the babies. They have their puberty rite ceremonies and all of these things. So it's just for us to extend these services a little more where we can incorporate them into our lives, not just for our immediate family or immediate Ile or our immediate temple, but where other people can have a benefit from them. Okay? So you're on the True Talks with OFAE. OFAE, you're listening to True Talks with OFAE. And our topic tonight is talking about promoting the goodness of IFA-ORISA-EGUN life worldwide. Okay? And so far, we've had 2 callers call in, and they made some very good points in terms of how young people today need to see more of these African expressions, these spirituality, the indigenous or African spirituality, or the way that people are expressing African spirituality worldwide. They need to see more of it on a public level, not so much on a private level. One of the things that I'm doing here in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area is called Teach Orisha People by Participation. And in Teach Orisha People by Participation, this is events where people meet through, there's the website meetup.com, and people meet in person to share and learn what they know about different Orishas. From Papa Legba, Ilegbara, to from Olorun, even Olorun, from Oromila, Oshun, all the different deities, and we come together. And for people who are, and this is not so much in a formal meeting where you would have, different ceremonies going on. It's a very informal setting where people come with their children. We bring food. We pray together. We play drums. We make music together. We do presentations. We say poetry events. We talk about the Orisha. We even come dressed in the Orishas. And it's very good for family inspiration, for people to get together and understand that, that Orisha doesn't always have to mean that you're in some kind of restricted mode when you approach having anything to do with Orisha. You're not you don't have to follow a whole set of protocols and all of this. And usually when we try to do these things, we try to be in a natural environment, the places where we know that you can commune directly with Orisha, by the river, we go by the ocean, you go in the woods, in a park, or things like that, and have these meetups. So, if you're interested in, participating in the Teach Orisha People events, then you can go to meetup.com and look for the group IFA-ORISA-EGUN People, and that's IFA. Orisha is spelled O-R-I-S-H-A, and Egun, E-G-U-N, People, P-E-O. Well, of course, we know how to spell people, but because some of the words are Yoruba, we don't want to stop people from, we don't want to stop people from understanding what they're looking for, okay? So we're going to go on now, and we're going to talk more about, a little more about voodoo. We know, of course, that the voodoo is a diversified practice, okay, that is not only spread across the country of Haiti, but it's also